Hey, hey, hey! So today we have another book review. So this book is by Joanne Fluke. It is called The Triple Chocolate Cheesecake Murder. It, I believe, is part of a series. On the bottom it says a Hannah Swenson mystery with recipes. So there's that. But anyway, let's go ahead and read the synopsis and then we'll talk about it. Alright, Triple Chocolate Cheesecake Murder. This book retailed for $27 in the United States. That's more than I would pay for the book. Spring has sprung in Lake Eden, Minnesota, but Hannah Swenson doesn't have time to stop and smell the roses. Not with hot cross buns to make, treats to bake, and a sister to exonerate. Hannah's up to her ears with Easter orders rushing in at the Cookie Jar, which is her bakery, plus a festive meal to prepare for a dinner party at her mother's penthouse. But everything comes crashing to a halt when Hannah receives a panicked call from her sister Andrea. Mayor Richard Bascom has been murdered, and Andrea is the prime suspect. Even with his reputation for being a bully, Mayor Bascom, or Ricky Ticky, as Hannah's mother likes to call him, I don't remember that in the entire book, had been unusually testy in the days leading up to his death, leaving Hannah to wonder if he knew he was in danger. Meanwhile, folks with a motive for mayoral murder are popping up in Lake Eden. Was it a beleaguered colleague, a political rival, a jealous wife, or a scorned mistress? As orders pile up at the Cookie Jar and children line up for Easter egg hunts, Hannah must spring into investigation mode and identify the real killer before another murder happens. So this book, I believe, would be classified as a cozy mystery. This book has, I'm trying to think how many chapters it has. Like 27, 23, 25 chapters. So it's not a super thick book. It does come with recipes sparsed interminglingly with things, and then at the end there is a list of all the recipes and the pages in which you can find them. These recipes usually come at the end of a chapter, so by the time you hit a recipe, you know that you're about to be done with the chapter. My thoughts on this book, as somebody who likes romance, murder, mystery, this book is extremely cheesy. It's about this mayor who gets killed right after Hannah's sister Andrea goes to visit him, and there's a lot of cheesy things. Okay, the first thing is that Hannah talks to herself, but she doesn't just talk to herself. She has like two voices in her head, right? And she has one that will talk. She talks to herself in the third person, okay, in her head, and it makes me laugh so much. I don't think the storyline is bad. I think the plot is very, very good. You know, the mayor gets killed, and then you have to figure out, it's kind of a whodunit, right? You have to figure out who did it and why, and, you know, there's clues that kind of add up along the way, and, like, there's more to the story, because, like, the person who usually in murder mysteries, the person who commits the murder, there's a big backstory about why they did it, their character motivation for doing that, and you figure that out too. This book is quite surprising. The way that it ends is not a way that you would expect it to end. There's a lot of things that kind of keep you guessing up until the end. Like, you can get real close to figuring it out. Figuring certain things out, but then at the end you're just kind of like, what? I think the recipes are nice. I think they're probably very, very good. One thing I don't like is that in the recipes, if there are notes in the recipes, the author puts it as Hannah's note. So, like this one, this is a recipe for coconut cream cheese frosting, and she has Hannah's first note. Do this next step at room temperature. If you heated the cream cheese and the butter to soften them, make sure your mixture has cooled to room temperature before you complete the next step. And sometimes she talks, about, like Hannah's third note. Butterscotch marshmallow bar cookies are very rich. I've only seen 2 people eat more than one. The first person is Doc, a character in the book, who adores these bar cookies and ate 2 after dinner for dessert. The second person, of course, is Mike Kingston, who once ate 4 for afternoon coffee at the Cookie Jar. These are fictional characters, okay, that they're talking about. So the recipes are real, as far as I know. I mean, you can go in and make them. I don't know. We didn't. To me, I think they're cool, but it's unnecessary for me. I didn't read them. You know, some of them sound kind of good. There's an emphasis on food and cooking and baking in this book. So if you like more of a straight murder mystery where they more get into the murder, everything is centered around food. And everybody knows everybody's good recipes. Everybody knows what somebody makes well. It seems like, or how they make their favorite recipe. You know, there's a lot of really, really weird things. I'm going to give this book a 3 out of 5. It's not a terrible book, but it's not a good book. Would I read it again? No. No, hard pass. It's extremely cheesy, and I feel like the author is not like an author of regular like murder mysteries. I feel like she's a baker, a chef, and it does, I believe, say in the end, well, she's a New York Times bestselling author, so what do I know? I'm not even on that list. But in the back, they have a picture of her, and she's baking. So I'm kind of like, I think maybe she was a baker that kind of just started writing books. The writing is very, to me, this is just to me, it's very amateurish. It's nowhere near Lisa Jackson. It's nowhere near Stephen King. It's nowhere near some of my favorite authors. The police work, like the police actually invite Hannah in to help investigate, and they share information with her. Completely unrealistic. That would never happen in the real world. And Hannah owns a bakery. I don't remember if she used to be a cop or not, but they're always like trying to find out what she has, and then they actually ask her, we're going to need your help with this one. We're absolutely going to need your help. And I'm like, that would never happen. Absolutely would never happen. So for that, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. It's not a terrible book, but would I recommend it? Nah. If you like food-centered murder mysteries, absolutely. If you like really cheesy books, absolutely. And I say cheesy, I don't think there's much cheese in here at all. Like most of it's like pies and muffins and bakery treats and things like that. And yeah, it's a weird book. It's a weird one to have read. So I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Let me know if you've ever read this book or anything by Joanne, Fluke, and if you have, let me know what you thought of it. And listen, if you disagree with me, and if you're like, this is a really good book, that I totally understand. It's a New York Times bestselling author. It doesn't say that this book is a New York Times bestselling book, just that she's a New York Times bestselling author, which means she wrote at least one book that hit the list. You know, so I don't know. No shade to her. I feel like the writing is amateurish. I feel like it's very like 13 years old, like junior high. It's what you would write out of a romance. There's no like sex. There's no hint at sex. There's nothing like that, other than to say that the mayor had affairs, right? You know, but there's no, even Hannah has like a boyfriend, I think he's a boyfriend, because they were talking about getting married, and they would go places together, and they were like living together, but they weren't romantic with each other at all. They acted just like friends, like brother and sister. Like they don't act like romantic partners. Okay, they don't kiss. There's nothing like that in this book. So it's a little strange for me. So that's why I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. But let me know if you've read it, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. Let me know everything in the comments below. Like this video if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video, because you never know what kind of content's going to pop up over here on this channel. I thank you all so much for watching. I love you all very, very much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!